Let's go behind the scenes at Roaring Camp.
This is Railroad Showcase.
I started working for Roaring Camp in 1972 as a food service person. I went in and on my own time I trained to fire the locomotive, at which point I became a fireman and have been on the engines and in engine service ever since. I got my promotion in 1976. To engineer, and I am the longest employee on property at the present time. Roaring Camp is very much like these old logging operations wherein the engineer also did all the mechanicals on the engine. One of the gentlemen who taught me a lot of things here was a man by the name of Ed Paulson. And Mr. Paulson was a steam engineer and mechanic for Santa Cruz Lumber on their operation up above Waterman Gap. They had one locomotive, and on those days when he wasn't running the engine, he was working on the engine. Ed could look at a nut that you would hand him that was found along the railroad and know exactly where it went on the locomotive. You know, he could do that, and I'm getting close, but I'm not quite there yet. Ed had started out working for the Northwestern Pacific when it was still the San Francisco and Northwestern in 1907. He worked down in Tiburon shops for a little while. Then he got a permanent gig as the switch engine engineer up in Eureka. When Santa Cruz Lumber was looking for a locomotive, they came up to Scotia and happened to bump into Ed, and they looked around and they were going to buy one of the Climaxes that Scotia had up there, which was for sale, and Ed turned to him and said, "You don't want that damn thing, you want a Shay." So they found a Shay and they grabbed Ed and they put him to work at Santa Cruz Lumber. And from what I understand, he was the only engineer that ever ran that engine up there in Waterman Gap. That engine's kind of famous, actually. It was the engine that they had to fly in on a skyline in order to get it into Waterman Gap.
And remember, the product of the week this week is The Favorite DVD. Look for the details on rrshowcase.com.
When Walt designed and built Disneyland, he wanted to have an authentic railroad, so he had a passenger train and a freight train. And this particular car was said to be his favorite car because when he was a boy, he had actually worked on the railroad. He sold candy and newspapers. And he would have stored his supply in a combination car like this. This car is half passenger, half baggage. And so this would have been the car he would have rode in with the crew, talked to the crew. I've heard stories that he was even allowed to go up into the engine with the engineers and operate the equipment. And so this was Walt's favorite car. It's one of those unique artifacts that Walt actually touched. He would have walked through here. He approved the design of the stencils. I'm sure the paint scheme, everything was, in those days, was approved by Walt. And so this car is what Walt wanted.
Remember, you can always find portions of our full episodes for free here on Facebook and YouTube. If you're interested in the full episodes, go to our webpage, rrshowcase.com, and sign up as a Silver Spike or a Gold Spike member.
Be sure to leave comments, like, subscribe, and again, thanks for watching.